Senator Lindsey Graham condemning the Fuentes appearance. But there's a bigger context.
Trump posted him and Kanye at the White House.
In isolation.
Task Patel's team of FBI.
Racist rhetoric.
Team of KGB, the FBI is protecting groypers.
Of the political right.
Groyper flies and groyper actual shooters.
This excerpts from
and Hegseth is putting a groyper on the American flag to recruit.
Yeah, that's right.
So don't act like you're condemning it.
That were happening among
you're all part of it.
Young Republicans in
turn on Trump and Putin.
Where they were saying things like, I love Hitler.
The young Republicans.
Joking about sending political opponents to the gas chamber and so on. I do need to note NPR has not independently verified those texts.
The young Republicans in their 30s, their 1930s.
Vice President J.D. Vance from leaping into the fray. This is him talking
He's also a groomer and a groyper, apparently.
In an episode of The Charlie Kirk Show.
And I really don't want us to grow up in a country where a kid telling a stupid joke, telling a very offensive stupid joke, is cause to ruin their lives.
I don't want to grow up in that
kids in their 30s, their 1930s.
This alleged chat were all adults, right, Odette?
Yeah,
they're all groomers.
Young Republicans goes up to the age of 40.
It's called young
and some
Republicans,
of them
but they're
held elected
groomers.
Positions. These weren't people that were still in college necessarily.
Necessarily, they've probably never been to college.
Sources and methods, you can hear it wherever you get your podcasts.
Anyway, be right back.
You're listening to All Things Considered.
A Rhode Island federal judge has ordered the Trump administration to find enough money to fully restore funding for SNAP benefits by Friday. The government immediately appealed the decision. The latest in just a few minutes on All Things Considered. This is CPR News. I'm Nathan Fernando Fresca. So glad you're along with me this evening. Well, California Governor Gavin Newsom called other blue states into the redistricting fight after Prop 50 passed there. That includes Colorado.
We need our friends in New York, in Illinois, in Colorado. We need to see other states meet this moment head on as well to recognize what we're up against in 2026.
Hear more at 5:44. Now, the Denver Broncos are playing at home tonight against their rivals, Las Vegas Raiders. The winds should die down by the 6:15 p.m. kickoff, but watch your paper plates at the tailgate until then. This is CPR News. It's 5:19.
Support comes from Intermountain Health, recognizing that November is Lung Cancer Awareness Month. Learn more about early detection and screening locations at intermountainhealth.org.
Support comes from Denver Brass, presenting Legacy in Brass. Concerts of signature works with organist Joseph Galema, recorded live November 8th and 9th at Bethany Lutheran Church. Tickets at denverbrass.org.
How do you hold on to your center of calm, even as you move through a busy day? Listen to CPR Classical. Hi, I'm Patty Pager Wakefield with music to soothe your afternoons at 3. Listen at 88.1 in Denver or at CPR.org. Join CPR's Summit Club with a gift of $1,000 or more. Your membership opens the door to behind-the-scenes events, early ticket access, and insider updates. Take the first step at CPR.org.
Support for NPR comes from this station and from Fisher Investments. Fisher's dedicated team of specialists provide resources on investing, retirement income, estate planning, and more. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss. And from Chapter, offering Medicare advice to seniors nationwide this enrollment period and working to find the plans that best fit their needs. Advisors are available by dialing pound 250 and saying the keyword Medicare Help.
This is All Things Considered from NPR News. I'm Juana Summers.
And I'm Mary Louise Kelly. The government shutdown is about to have a big impact on air travel. The Federal Aviation Administration is moving to reduce air traffic by 10% at dozens of major airports starting tomorrow. FAA Administrator Brian Bedford says these cuts are necessary to keep airspace safe as the agency deals with a shortage of air traffic controllers.
When we see pressures building in these 40 markets, we just can't ignore it, and we're not going to wait for a safety problem to truly manifest itself when the early indicators are telling us.
I had to grab my jersey for the Bronx Obama Cold
today to prevent
Welcome to the Bronx Obama Cold.
Things from deteriorating.
But there are a lot of questions about this planned reduction in air traffic, including what it will mean for airlines and air travelers. NPR transportation correspondent.
It will be affected by the cutting gradually working up to 10% by next week. The airlines are saying this will not affect international flights, only domestic, which is good news for the airlines because internet chunk of their profits.
And what kind of news is it for those of us who are about to board planes? I'm raising my hand. I'm flying this weekend. I hope.
It's hard to say. Delta Airlines said today it would operate the vast majority of its flights as scheduled. United says this is not a high demand time of year to fly, so the airline does have empty seats, and it's optimistic that it can accommodate most ticket holders. But travels like you are understandably. Station WABE spoke to a woman named Ellen Silva.
What's the question? Is this happening right now?
But the official explanation from the AA, as we heard at the top, is that it's necessary.
JP Morgan
government
Trump's
shutdown take on air traffic controllers who are required to work without pay.
Yeah.
Some of them have taken second. Many are called out sick.
Okay.
When we
Subsidies for the health or cancel all insurance. Let's just have universal health care.
And Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said yesterday the decision to reduce air traffic was based on data.
This was not taken lightly. We will drive these decisions based on the data that we receive and make the best calls that we can to keep those who travel through the airspace safe.
Duffy was asked exactly what data administrators were looking at and did not say. There's a lot of speculation online, including from some air traffic controllers, that this is mainly a PR move or a political move that's related to negotiations to end the government shutdown. It's also possible that more than one of these explanations could be true at the same time. In other words, it could be about safety or politics or both.
Bottom line, for those of us hoping to fly in the next few days, what do you put the chances of complete chaos?
Well, a spokesman for NPR told...
Get Trump out of office and get the government back on.
This is not all that different from what airlines do during the summer to adjust for a major thunderstorm.
Or turn the government back on if they don't,
just a thunderstorm
if they let the premiums skyrocket, cancel insurance, boycott insurance.
No real precedent
make
for
universal health care.
NPR's Joel Rose, thanks.
You're welcome.
Make Obamacare fail into universal health care.
Administration to pay full SNAP food benefits to people and to do so by tomorrow. The judge criticized the government for not considering the consequences of slashing the nation's biggest
they consider the consequences.
program.
They want to
the
hurt
Trump
and kill us.
administration immediately appealed that decision. NPR's Jennifer Letton joins us with more.
They appealed the decision to give us
Jennifer,
the
this
food
is a
that
huge
we're
change
due.
from the last ruling, which was nearly a week ago, and you've been following all of these twists and turns. And as you've reported, the administration was planning partial SNAP payments.
Probably cost more than doing the full ones.
Well, a
group
of cities and nonprofits that had sued over Trump cutting off SNAP were not pleased with this idea of partial payments for November. Recall the administration had been planning to cut benefits by 50%. Actually, just last night, it recalculated and sent out new guidance saying it was lowering that to a 35% cut, although many people would have seen much deeper cuts than that. But the plaintiffs in this lawsuit said partial payments are not enough.
Just sacrifice the insurance industry and turn the government back on.
Fast enough. And
let's have universal health care.
Say it could take them weeks to get out payments. So this group
let the
went
premium
back to
skyrocket,
court
but it's just a
asking for
number if you
full
don't pay them.
benefits. And Judge John McConnell Jr. agreed in an oral ruling from the bench.
And to be clear, this judge had signed off on partial
Let
payments. So
Obamacare
what did he have
fail
to say
into
about why he
universal
was
health care.
changing his order?
They're
A
gonna
key
suffocate
point
it anyway.
for the judge was a Truth Social post by President Trump 2 days ago. In it, Trump said SNAP benefits, quote, will be given only when the radical left Democrats open up government,
So obviously
which they
holding
can
it
easily
hostage,
do and
holding
not before.
all the hungry people
Now,
hostage.
shortly after that, White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt went, no. She told reporters the administration was continuing to work on making partial payments happen. But speaking from the bench this afternoon, Judge McConnell said that post showed intent to defy a court order. McConnell also said the government failed to consider
American.
to at least pay partial benefits, but he and another judge in Boston in a separate lawsuit both said there is a bigger pot of money from customs revenues that the Trump administration could use to make full SNAP payments. Now, the government had declined to do that. It said it wants to keep that money for other uses, like child nutrition programs. But depending on how this appeal plays out, of course, if there is a final order to make full SNAP
Come
payments,
off the money
that
now
bigger pot is
for
where
the
they
people
may
who need
turn
it
for
and
the
then
money.
put it back later.
I guess one question I have is what this means for the states. They administer SNAP benefits, and they were supposed to be working on getting partial payments out. And now there's been this big switch.
Yes, they have been scrambling. This order would make them scramble again. Now with an appeal, it may put things on hold and in limbo. We've certainly heard from several states that the administration's partial payment formula is complicated, it's labor intensive, that it could take some places weeks to get that money to people. Policy analysts say it's just much easier and faster to stick with what the system is already set up for, which is, people's regular full payments. But if states are now on hold, that also means, the millions of people who rely on this food aid will also be in limbo again, wondering how much and when they may get benefits.
Trying to hurt people just to blame the Democrats for your shutdown.